Yeah, son. Good morning, seventh graders. We are now in our last lesson of the chapter. This is lesson 9 of chapter 2. You will soon be taking a chapter review that will be a quiz grade and a chapter 2 test. So you need to make sure that you're understanding everything that we've learned this chapter. It was a very lengthy chapter, lots of lessons in there. So today's is super easy. It's constant rate of proportionality. Yesterday was constant rate of change. Today's constant rate of proportionality. It's going to sound kind of difficult, but I promise you it's going to be super easy. And as long as you're comfortable with proportions, cross multiplying and dividing, you will have no problem with today's lesson. There is not much, there wasn't even a homework sheet that went with this lesson on the textbook, so I'm just going to go with the enrichment practice. Okay, so here it is, and I'm just going to read this. Another method of solving a direct variation problem is by using a direct proportion. A direct proportion exists between two quantities when the ratio between them stays the same when the quantities increase or decrease. For example, one apple costs 50 cents. Then 2 apples will cost 2 times 50 or $1. And 3 apples will cost 3 times 50 or $1.50. The ratio between the cost of the apples and the number of the apples will remain at 50 cents. All right, so each apple's 50 cents. So what we're going to do right here, we're going to go back to my screen in just a second, and we're going to do this example 1. If y varies directly and x as x and y is 8, blah, 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 blah. We're going to figure out this. So I'm going to write this down, and we'll solve it together. Okay, guys, sorry. I unplugged my little internet cord a while ago. All right, so here's the deal. Here is our constant rate of proportionality. So we have this, and we know that this is x, y, correct? And x, y. All right, so we don't know what this y is, and the way that we can solve that is by setting up a proportion. All right, so I have to have labels, and if you could like rewind a little bit, you will look and you will see that in the example in the book, they don't put labels. And guys, I have to have labels, and I'm a really, really big believer in that when you're doing proportions, when you're doing ratios, okay? It helps you keep your likes together. All right, so we're going to put x's on top and y's on bottom, and we know that this is going to be a proportional relationship, all right? So we've got x's on top. So here's my x here, 3. And we know it's going to be equal to, okay, 3, and then the x over here is 12. So I have x's on top, as you see, 3 and 12. Okay, on bottom, what goes with this 3 and this ordered pair is 8. So 8 is going to go underneath that, all right? And then we have y over here. It goes with 12. And we don't know what y is. We're trying to solve for that, okay? So that's kind of easy, but I feel like it's easy because I kept my likes together. I wrote labels, and it helped me keep everything in my head. All right, so now we're going to solve for this y. These are just our labels. All right, so we're going to cross multiply. Okay, 3 times y is 3y, which is equal to 8 times 12. All right, now, if you remember, I was telling you, okay, we obviously got to get rid of this 3, so we can divide. Now, you can do 2 things. You can multiply 8 times 12 out and figure what that is, which is going to be 96, okay? So you can say, okay, 8 times 12 is 96, divide by 3, divide by 3. Or you can do this. You can say, okay, 3 will not divide into 8 evenly. It won't. But 3 will divide into 12 evenly, right? Yeah, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I can go ahead right now and do divide by 3, and then divide by 3, and y is equal to 8 times 4, which is 32. Okay? Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, and a lot of you won't, that is fine. We can do it like this. We can do 3y, and we'll get the same thing, is equal to 8 times 12. All right, now if I come over here and do 12 times 8, 16, that's 96, like I said. Okay, so we do 3y is equal to 96. Okay, now divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 1y, 1, anything times 1 is itself. So 1 times y is going to be y. And we've got to divide over here by 3. So 96 divided by 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. That's 0. Bring down my 6. And 3 goes in 6 2 times. And 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so now that is 32. So y is equal to 32. Guys, don't stress out if you didn't understand dividing by 3 over here and then dividing this by 3. Because not every time will it work. There's a lot of times where 3, it would be like, it could be 13 right here. And 3 won't divide into 13 super easy. All right, so I just want you guys to feel comfortable doing that. I hope y'all do. Anyway, all right, so here's our answer. And let's see if we can do another example, okay? Okay, so here's another way you may see this. So it says if y equals 4 when x is negative 6, determine, Miss Mitchell's not spelling things right. Yeah, when is that right? Determine y when x is equal to 15. I apologize. Okay, so first off, I need to rewrite it. They're trying to trick me. They give me y first and then x next. So I'm going to rewrite it with x, y. Okay, y is 4, x is negative 6, and then we want to find y, and here I am with my labels again, when x is 15 and y is, we don't know. So let's set up a proportion like we did a while ago. I'm going to put x's on top again and y's on bottom, and we can do it a little bit different. We can not set it up different, but we can go in a different order. So we can do this coordinate pair right here. So this coordinate pair right here is negative 6 is going to be on top because my x's are on top. So I can put negative 6, and then 4 will be on bottom. And then I can come over here and I can put 15 on top because that's my x's, and we don't know what this y is. All right, so here we go. And we're going to do something probably you haven't done yet because we have a negative right here. But don't worry, it'll be fun. And it'll be super easy. All right, so we're going to cross multiply. So negative 6 times y is negative 6y, okay? And then 4 times 15, okay? Now, here's where we were a while ago, and we could divide by 3 over here and then divide by 3. We can't do that. 6 won't go into 4 or 15. So we need to figure out what this is right here. So 15 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. The 0 can stay. The 2 gots to go. 1 times 4 is 4. And 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay. So now we have negative 6y is equal to 60. All right. Now, we need to get rid of this negative 6. Okay. And the only way to get rid of a negative 6 is to divide by negative 6. Because if you remember, we have plus, plus, plus when we're dividing or multiplying by negative numbers. See how everything always comes together? You use previous knowledge all the time in math. So you've got to make sure that you understand each lesson before you move to the next, because it's always coming back to bite you in the butt. All right, so we need to make this be a positive y. So if you would have done negative divided by a positive 6, you'd have negative y. We don't want a negative y. So we wanted to do, let's see, negative 6 divided by negative 6 is positive. All right, so we're going to divide by negative 6, and we're going to divide by negative 6. And y is equal, so we got a positive 6 divided by 6. So 60 divided by 6 is 10, but it's a positive 60 divided by a negative 6 is going to give me a negative 10. So y is equal to negative 10, okay? All right, now one more, but this one's a little different because now we're going to solve for x instead of y. All right, so this is going to be a little different. And we'll do like this. Determine it's going to be x. And then, let's see. All right, so it's the same color. So determine if, I got my cheat sheet down. If y let's do this. Let me just write the coordinates down. It'll be a lot easier. All that. Okay, so we have 3, 8, and we have x, and we have 45. All right, so we don't know what x is, but we got to find it. And guess what? It's not hard, people. It's super easy. All we got to do is plug it in. So let's do our labels. So we have x is on top, y is on bottom, and we're going to set up a proportion. So I do want to point this out because the first time I taught junior high math, you know, it's been 5 years, but I still remember. Proportions got kids. Like, we tested week on proportions. So I would tell you that anytime you see 3 numbers, it's probably 99% of the time going to be a proportion problem. And right here we have 3 numbers, and we're looking for a 4th number. So when you have 3 numbers, 90% of the time, like I said, it's going to be proportion. All right, so let's plug in what we do know for sure. We do know these are our x's and y's, x and y. Okay, so we do know that 3 is right here, and the y that goes with 3 is 8. So my y's are on bottom, so I'm going to put 8 down here. Now, over here, x is on top. That's what we're solving for, and then 45 is on bottom. All right, now, we're going to cross multiply, and 3 times, and this time it's just going to be a little different, and it really doesn't matter if you put 3 times 45 on the left side of the equal sign or the right side, you're still going to get the same answer. It's equal to 8x. All right, now, I like to ask myself, can I divide 8 by any number over here? And I can't. If it was 9, yes, this would be super easy and I could get that to be 5, but it's not. So I'm going to multiply 45 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. The 5 can stay. The 1 got to go. 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 plus 1 is 13. All right, so now I have 135 is equal to 8x. All right, now I've got to get rid of the 8, so I've got to divide because right now I'm doing 8 times x, so I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to divide by 8 here, and now I have 1x. And if I divide by 8 on the right, I have to divide by 8 on the left. And guys, I think I'm going to have a decimal number on this. All right, so let me erase this real quick so I can do my math. Over here, I'm running out of space. So 135 divided by 8. All right, so 8 will go into 13 one time. Okay, 1 times 8 is 8, and 13 minus 8 is 5. 8 won't go into 5, so I'm going to bring down this 5. 8 will go into 55 6 times because 8 times 7 is 56. That'll be too big. So 6 times 8 is 48. Okay. I'm going to put a decimal here. All right. 15 minus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 7. And a 0. And 8 will go into 70 8 times, which is 64. And I have 60. I'm running out of room again. 8 will go into 67 times, and that's 56. And then 40, which is 5. All right, so in this case, 16.875 is equal to x. Now, probably they'll tell you round to the nearest 10 or 2 decimal places. If they tell you 2 decimal places, this is 16.88. And if it's 1 decimal place, it would be 16.9 equals x. Okay, so it just depends on how they tell you to, oh, I'm sorry, you can't see that. It just depends on how they tell you to, what decimal place they tell you to round to. All right, guys. that is it for today's lesson. Just remember that you need to do your labels. It's always super important to have labels. All right, guys. See y'all later. If you like what you've been seeing, don't forget to like and subscribe so I can bring you more amazing content.